color, but we'll get over it. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Dee Dee Russell with WeddingVenueOwners.com and the Wedding Venue Owners and Managers Community Group on Facebook. If you're not a member, please find it. We have over 5,000 active wedding venue owners and managers sharing knowledge, strategies for success, and a sense of community, of course. You are not alone out there on your wedding island. There are hundreds, thousands of wedding venue owners that want to connect and collaborate with you and be part of your story for success. So today we have Justin Hanover with Hanover Marketing, and I'm so excited because we're going to learn how to book more weddings with Pinterest. A lot of you are on Pinterest. A lot of you don't have Pinterest links on your website, and you're not maybe using it to its best and fullest potential to help you connect with those couples that are searching for you out there. So before we get started, I do want to make a quick shout out to our sponsors. Our great sponsors help us provide educational resources to wedding venue owners all over the country and all over the world. So we thank you so much, Vinsura. If you are a wedding venue owner, you should absolutely be having the conversation of event liability and wedding cancellation insurance. That is a place where a lot of venue owners get into trouble. We have a lot of horror stories going through our network right now, venue owners being sued, and different things like that. Challenging topics, but reality all the same. So protect yourself, reduce your liability. Contact Vinsura, Lee Midkiff, and Kelly Jones. Would love to talk to you. And Moppet, our friends over at Moppet, we love them. Thank you, Moppet, for all that you do to make our venues look amazing and shiny and sparkling and beautiful. No one wants to clean up nasty wedding messes at 2 a.m. and be there till 6 when the next thing starts. You want that to be fast and quick and easy. Moppet is the most highly recommended in the wedding venue owners community. So go Moppet. We love them. Moppet for your floor scrubbing machines. Weavin for your technology resources. Weavin helps our venue owners get organized and have all of those resources to kind of organize their operations online. So Weavin for your tech strategies for your wedding venue. And then Maru, we're so excited about Maru, so very excited. Maru is amazing. They're helping couples have a little more confidence as they move forward and book their weddings. And in the face of all the recession talk. So couples are still booking weddings, but maybe they're being a little more reluctant. But imagine, venue owner, if you are one of the first to start offering wedding financing in your market. That is certainly an incredible value and something your couples will love. It helps them avoid, going into debt by financing their weddings on credit cards, which many are doing, and we definitely don't want that. And then finally, Seatco, our amazing friends at Seatco, they have incredible seats and chairs. And as someone with a catering background and the fact that my legs used to be covered in bruises all the time from flipping rooms around and switching ceremony sites to receptions and whatnot, I appreciate a chair that I can pick up with my hand and still has the capabilities of holding 350 plus pounds. So check out Seatco online and all of our amazing sponsors. And that leads us to you, Justin. Thank you for being so patient as I rattled all of that off. Justin, you are the reason we're here this morning. We need to know, how do we book more weddings with Pinterest? How do we do it? And welcome, by the way.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be here today, Dee Dee. It really means a lot to be able to come on here. Obviously, connecting with you, having this great conversation, and connecting with your wedding venue owner community, which is a fantastic community that's really obviously all about raising all the ships. So we all rise together. So I'm really excited to bring the Pinterest knowledge to the forefront and be able to help your venue build a brand and attract more of your ideal brides.
Absolutely. And that's what our venue owners need. They need a little bit of tips and insight and information. Now, a lot of our venue owners are on Pinterest, but maybe they haven't been back there in a year or two, we have a couple of venue owners out there that are probably like, oh my gosh, not one more social media that I have to keep up with. But I'm going to tell you right now, just because you're used to using Facebook and Instagram does not mean they're the best resource. Okay. They are one of the top 2 most utilized. And so they don't need to be as accommodating as they used to with giving you views and visibility. Yes. And also, we're always inundated with videos from social media marketing companies on, how to manage the algorithm, can we just not? So in my research, Justin, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, In my research, and I'm in about 200 to 300 wedding websites and social media accounts for venue owners every week researching. Pinterest is one of the least utilized links on wedding venue websites. So what's up with that? What's going on with these venue owners and Pinterest?
I think a lot of it is just they don't understand it. There's not really a lot of information out there on Pinterest, and it's kind of a strange platform because it's categorized as a social media platform like Instagram or Facebook, but it's really not about that. Like it's not, there's no engaging happening on the platform. You're not communicating like you would on Instagram or Facebook. Followers really don't matter on Pinterest like they would in the same way on Instagram or Facebook. So I think it kind of throws people off that like they try to treat it like Instagram and focus on building followers and stuff and think that matters. And it really doesn't matter because Pinterest is really about, it's like a visual search engine, really. And so it's all about tapping into flows and searches that are happening already and guiding that flow to your website. And Pinterest, like you mentioned, is heavily rewarding organic traffic, and they want you to get people to your site. It's a buying platform. It's a platform where people go to do things and look for solutions to things. So they encourage, obviously your entire page is linked to your website. I mean, it's like they can't make it any more easier than that. So I mean, it's really a unique platform where it's rewards you for getting people to your site, and it wants that. And whereas other social media platforms, they want to keep you in-house. They want to keep you on that platform using it. So that's what's important, to understand the different platforms and using the different platforms to the best ability so you actually can get something from it. But a lot of it, I think, when it comes to Pinterest is just misinformation. They just don't understand how to use it. And also it can be a little daunting because you're not getting that instant satisfaction hit like you do with, like, say, like Instagram or Facebook, where you get likes and all this stuff, whatever. Well, Pinterest really isn't about that. Again, it's really about driving traffic to your site. That's all that matters. And so if you're doing that, great. Like, and if that's not happening, and you're getting likes on your pins, whatever, or reshares, I mean, that's great. But the end result, we really want to focus on getting the outbound clicks to your website. So that can be, I guess, that dopamine hit. You're not getting that. So that can deter some people and make it feel like nothing's happening when it actually is. When what really matters is happening, because you're not getting paid to get likes. Like you're getting paid to book weddings.
That's exactly right. And I want to point out, if you go, anyone watching this, go to Hanover Marketing. What's the website, Justin?
HanoverMarketingService.com.
Okay, and I'm going to put that in the video so that you can see it. But if you pause this, don't get out of this video. You want to watch the rest. But if you pause for a second and you go to Hanover Marketing, you scroll down a little bit, you will see a couple of examples of Pinterest homepages. And what's fascinating, and this is very much like YouTube, you will see very low followers, 15, 20, 30, 50 followers on a certain venue, wedding venue, Pinterest homepage, but you'll see the views, and the views are 15,000 a week, 20,000. I think you even have one on your website that's getting 50,000 views a week. That is incredible. Who's viewing this? Well, you can clearly see who's viewing this if you follow some of the data points. So one of the data points would be you share a pin. In the pin, you put funnels, you put your lead, you put the lure that lures them in, location and description. And that's what you should be using. You should be putting those things in there. Here's how you know you're getting ripped off on social media. Go right now and look at your social media. And if your social media marketing person is not mentioning your location at all, problem. We need to lead them in. And so Justin, talk a little bit about some of the key terms and keywords. And these references are used very often when we talk about SEO, when we talk about YouTube, when we talk about social media. But for Pinterest, what we're looking at and what you've mentioned to me before is that big, broad keyword, that powerhouse keyword, which is going to be wedding and then wedding venue. But then what is it that's different? What funnels you in? You got to think about this, venue owner. So Justin, help us a little bit with some of the words we would be using to really make our impact, to increase and improve our impact on Pinterest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I mean, first off, obviously, like you said, the first place to start in the location keywords. And it's important to remember that it may not necessarily be the exact town that your venue's in that you're tapping into. Like one of our venues in Georgia, her particular town is a small little town. No one's searching there for venues. So it would make no sense for us to tap into that. Instead, we're tapping into Atlanta, Athens, um, what's that third A?
Augusta?
Augusta, yes. So, so it's like the triangle there. So we're tapping into much bigger population pools, but it's still within a demographic where people are going to be willing to drive to a venue like that. So it's still within an hour, hour and a half of the venue. So just be aware of that it may not necessarily be your exact town that you want to tap into when it comes to a platform like this. You want to make sure you're tapping into where the majority of the searches obviously is happening locally. Otherwise, I mean, you could be missing all the traffic by being a town away.
Right. And you got to think about what your couples are looking for and to know your couples. So new venues, this is harder for you. You don't know your couples as well as of yet. You kind of think you might know what they're looking for. This is why an expert like Justin comes in very handy with a lot of those keywords that are successful and a lot of the search tools that he has to look up SEO and keywords for any given market and for wedding venues specifically. But for venue owners that are established, you're not collecting your data properly. And I say this with all love because me being sweet and nice here is not going to help you pay your bills and get more weddings. So let's be honest, you're not collecting data the way that you should. You might not even have your Google Analytics up, every day, every other day to kind of look and see your traffic. When you are uploading new information to Pinterest, when you're creating a blog, any of those things, you should know, oh, I did that on Monday. And after that, I saw my traffic increase. So you're right, Justin, you might not get all the instant feels of those likes and comments, but what we want is something bigger. We're looking at the bigger picture. So if you are, if you're struggling with keywords and things like this might be what's the barrier and what's cutting off that communication and making your social media less successful, because someone in that tiny town in Georgia needs to look at where their couples have come from before and utilize some of that in your data and your reach. So maybe they do come 2 hours away and you're putting that in there. A lot of times I'll go to someone's social media when they ask me to do an audit and they just have their address in there as the location. That's it. Like no one's searching for your street and you could do it and then broaden it out from there, but they're looking at the cities that are familiar to them. Yes, you'll get a couple people in your own little tiny town for sure, but you got to look at your big audience, especially when you're spending time and money. You want the big audience that's coming out to you and to entice them out. And then the flip side of that, Justin, is people like in a Charleston or a Savannah or a Key West or a Nashville or New Orleans, Austin. Those are places that have anywhere from 60 to 80% destination wedding. So they're going to flip that around because they know 80% of their audience, 80% of their bookings do not come from New Orleans or from Charleston. Some, but not all. So as you're thinking about your numbers and your audience, an expert like Justin with Hanover Marketing, who helps us understand those keywords and those SEO terms, if you're struggling right now and all of this, your bookings are not going as well as they should be, you're not booking, your urge and instinct might be pay a third-party website real quick. Go ahead and pay $1,200 a month to be listed on this, warehouse of wedding venues, because it's going to fix my problems. But really, if you calm down for a minute and you reach out to an expert like Justin, what are some of the things you're going to say to that venue owner that they may not be expecting?
Well, it's like you said, it's about building an actual funnel that is leading to the end result. So we start with obviously the audience aspect. So where are we harboring an ideal audience? Then from the audience, then it's the nurturing. How are they being nurtured and building that trust with your venue and seeing you as the obvious choice. And then how is the conversion happening? What's the next step? And what is that process like? When you have that entire flow dialed in, your venue's running like a machine. And that's what we want. And that's where, and just double back on what we were saying before, but like Pinterest not feeling like it's doing anything because you're not getting those like instant satisfaction hits. Or like one of our venues that we're working with is a barn venue kind of in the middle of nowhere. Prior to working with us, they had 0 leads, no one reaching out to them. It was very sporadic. It was very random when someone happened to reach out to them. So there's no real actual consistency in the business. We redid their website, got their Pinterest cranking organically, and then set in place actual lead magnet and email nurturing system. And within a month of getting that live, they had over 75 people opt into their email list that now we can keep remarketing to. We know they raised their hand. And from that, 10 people booked tours. And I think they already booked like 3 or 4. A couple tours got pushed back, but I mean, so they have results happening. But if you looked at their Pinterest, yeah, you see the volume, the views, and you see the clicks, but it's not like anything's really happening on Pinterest. So that's where it's, again, like, we're focused on the result, and the result is what matters. And we need to make sure that we're getting either like getting an email, we're able to market to them, we know who's actually landing on your website, and then getting a tour booked.
And process,
that allows
the whole
process.
successful process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's not just one thing. Like, people get so fixated on thinking like one thing is going to change your business. No, it's multiple pieces that are all working together that are guiding the process and moving that person from first hearing about you to wanting to come in and book a tour to becoming an actual customer. So there's a journey that's happening. And if you're not considering where that person's at in the journey and what's moving them through, then you're going to have a tough time having consistency in your business. And that's what Pinterest helps with. It helps tap into that flow. It helps nurture them and gets them to where they need to be. That is going to help facilitate the next action step.
Let's talk about Pinterest and blogs. How do those two things work together? And I know I lost some of you when I said that awful word, blog, because you thought to yourselves, oh my gosh, here goes Didi adding more tasks to our daily duties. We don't have enough hours in the day already. So now I'm going to be folding laundry all day, which is what some people think of as a blog, just another big old pile of laundry to fold. And I'm just going to shove it under the bed. I can't stand it. So yes, I get it. It seems like another task, but here's the thing. If SEO is important to you, and when people are searching the big search engines, you know who they are, and they want to find a wedding venue in a certain area, don't you want to come up there? So YouTube and Pinterest are helping back up your location and your SEO efforts. Blog on your website is giving you new content that, again, reiterates all your SEO and keywords. So let's imagine you have a list of a top 10 keywords, and you have a list of a top 10 things that people book your wedding for. The waterfall, the big, beautiful floor to ceiling windows, the grand staircase, the swing by the lake, whatever your top 10 features are that couples come out and fall in love with your venue, or the reason they book your venue. And I'm talking aside from price and location, the physical features that you can rotate through, the things that make you stand out, that beautiful ceremony doors that you imported from Italy that no one else has. All of these things work together to create a dominant SEO impact. So Justin, how are you recommending your clients to understand blogs and Pinterest and how they work together as like a beautiful, perfect storm of great SEO, leading the right couples to your venue?
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of just to hit on too what you said of focusing on the unique aspects of your venue. I mean, that is your unique selling point. I mean, that should be like screamed from the rooftops of like, this is like, don't just keep showing what every other venue is showing. That makes no sense. I mean, you want to stand
the bouquet with no head and no waist. Just I swear to you, if I find a bouquet on your website as your featured image, you're getting demerits. We're going to send you pink slips. You're like going to get banned for 30 days. I don't know what punishment we can implement, but the wedding rings and the bouquet in the center, get rid of those. Those, oh my gosh, those are like some people's feature image. And I'm like, are you a florist? What are you? I don't know what you are.
Yeah. If you're a florist, I mean, it makes sense to do that, but that's, again, knowing who your audience is or what they're coming there for, a type of thing. But with the blogs, I mean, we focus on them as like basically thinking of them as like mini sales letters. So when they land on that blog, there needs to be some information happening, so there's value exchange happening. There needs to be some nurturing and trust building through the process, and then there needs to be the call to action. So like, what is the next step they need to take now? So it's basically a condensed version of the sales experience happening within a blog. And then obviously the beauty of that is that you can tap into highly searched topics, seasonal search topics, fall weddings, spring weddings. I mean, so you can have like a fall wedding, design decor. Like, I mean, like, so it's all different things you can tap into that can funnel people obviously to there. And then the purpose of the blog is to nurture that person and get them to a place where they feel comfortable making that next click. And that's what happens when you build trust and credibility with that person first, rather than just being like, hey, see me buy, like, book with me. Like it's not how it happens. Like, we forget how, like, when we're in real life, we don't do that. You don't just walk up to people and be like, buy from me. Like, that doesn't work. like you have to build some level of credibility and trust with that person first. And then the transaction happens because it makes sense, because they want to do it. It's permission-based selling. It's not car salesman selling. And that's what we want to avoid, because that's not what the wedding industry is about. Wedding industry is very much about like that permission-based word of mouth referral type of industry. So to put your venue in a position where you're basically just throwing ads in front of people that are triggering them to want to buy right then and there, I mean, that goes against the natural flow of what this industry is like. So that's where this type of flow is very much in alignment with how people like to go through this process. They like to feel like they discovered you. And that's what this allows. But with the blogs, I mean, and the beautiful thing, like Dee Dee said, is it keeps adding content to your site, keeps building up your SEO, it keeps intertwining with the search engines, the Pinterest, the YouTube. And the beautiful thing is, you do it once, you do it right, it will keep working for you for years to come. It's not like a one and done thing. So every year that you do a fall blog, every year it's fall or coming into that time where people are searching, guess what? That blog's going to resurface and keep pulling people to you. So that is why we focus on that type of tactic, because we want to make sure that we're building longevity in everything that you do and having life to your marketing. So it's not just one post and then 24 hours it's gone. It's one blog, and now you have that up there for years to come. And to put some perspective to that too, we took over a client's Pinterest page that she really wasn't utilizing much. She had it up there, started it I think 2 or 3 years ago, and had some good images on there, but then hasn't done anything else with it. And just because it existed and it allowed time for it to resonate into like basically the SEO of it, she had, I think, at least 4 or 5 pins that basically went viral and were consistently sending people to her website. It's just because it existed, and those were from 2 or 3 years ago. So like, that's the power of focusing on channels like this, because it can keep growing and snowballing over time. It's not just okay, you posted up a month ago, now it's old news. It's like, no, it's going to keep resurfacing for you and keep pulling people to you.
Right. And when you're using search engines, one of the mistakes that our venue owners make sometimes, or small business owners in general, is that you're so focused on what you like and what you enjoy and how you would look for something. And you have to remember, this is a huge barrier in the way of the success of you pulling in leads that are qualified leads from your best audience. When you're focused on the one thing you love about your venue, or the thing you think people should love about your venue, SEO keywords and social media are helping you understand better what they really want, because these things are doing better or not. So I do love, Facebook and Instagram for some of those things. Oh, this picture resonated. Let me use that over on Pinterest, and then sit there and build and develop. So as you're adding those pins on Pinterest, just like you said, or even those videos on YouTube, they're just continuing to put out those SEO keywords and phrases. It does make me very sad or disappointed when I go to a YouTube channel or a Pinterest and I see that something was building up so great and then it hasn't been used again. When you're thinking of a blog, we're not writing novels. Some blogs are very successful with just images, 10 or 15 images, and then a description of that image. maybe the first paragraph. So one of the things you can do to succeed as a blog is think about your Pinterest images that you're going to use to pull people in. They're most exciting. And then you can write in those pictures, in the captions, you can write, for more images of this ceremony, or to see how this couple designed their ceremony, click here to head over to our Pinterest. Constantly be pulling people in to your Pinterest and your YouTube and the social media that's really effective for you. TikTok is a big one. And imagine your website and your social media links that you have on your website. A, how easy are they to find? B, are they working? And C, please, for the love of humanity and for my wrinkled face that I get when I see your websites, open in a new browser. You want your website to stay open. When they click that link, it should open in a new browser so that you're continuing to build your good SEO. Your bounce rate is not increasing because people are getting led right off of your website. Your website's your most valuable tool. You want people to stay there for a long time, which leads us back to the blogs that are really value resources that make your couples want to continue to come back. Look around your market today. Look around at some of the venues that you admire and that are in the region and see how many of them have blogs. Guarantee you it's not a lot. And I guarantee you, as they're using their blogs, they're developing their SEO. And as they're using their Pinterest to back up that SEO and match those keywords, they're really, Google and other search engines are using that to validate your website and give you a better score. Your ranking is increasing with those legitimizers that are backing up, because you're not, claiming to be a wedding venue and then selling pizza and then adding your pizza links into and it's just confusing and your time, so you're using all of those things to validate and increase your message and strengthen. So blogs don't have to be this hideous, horrible, time-consuming task. They can be very quick, but if you would be consistent with them and think of value. So you mentioned when we talked before, timelines, checklists, did you know? So some of the content that couples
how-tos are a big thing.
Right. So can you elaborate on some of that? And then frequency that you might pen some of those topics that people are really interested in right now that are trending.
Yeah, I mean, it can depend on seasonal type of stuff too. When you do those things, like obviously like fall type of stuff, I mean, you're gonna want to make sure they're out by the spring before.
Yes.
So it's planning ahead and strategizing on what the future content is going to be like. But like as Dee Dee mentioned, I mean, it's really about taking the emotion out of it and really letting the facts and the numbers guide you. And that's really what we focus on with our clients is we're constantly every week researching and rechecking keywords and seeing where they stand and letting that guide our content that we produce. Because like that's what we want to make sure we're tapping into the natural flows that are happening and not trying to reinvent the wheel here and make it a lot more difficult than it has to be. But it's the common, I mean, the big thing, I mean, there's new engaged couples getting engaged every month. So they're going to want to keep seeing the same content. So it's not like you have to constantly keep producing drastically new things. But like we mentioned, like the timeline, like that is something that is probably always going to want to be seen. Like people want to know that they don't know that they never planned a wedding or anything like that. So I mean, like they want to know those types of things. So those things are always going to be like I would call like evergreen, where it's just going to be always something that's going to be searched. And it's never going to go away. So it's a good combination to have some evergreen along with seasonal things that are going to kind of ebb and flow with search volume. So you want to be able to capitalize on those periods, but you can't always work on those, obviously, because it's certain periods that those things are going to be relevant for. So that you want to make sure you're always producing a base of evergreen and seasonal content, and that allows you to have that steady flow of traffic coming to your website.
So when our venue owners decide that they want to master Pinterest and really take their social media marketing to the next level and dominate their SEO and kind of put all those things together, and they're considering outsourcing that, which venue owners, there is absolutely no shame in that. We understand you are busy. You love, maybe, touring clients and the booking process and the sales process and even the planning process, but you do not love social media. There is no shame in it, and you are not alone. This is a common problem. And even if you love social media, those of you who are great at it, find that you don't have time to really properly keep it up. So it is a full-time job. My best suggestion is never just do the thing that a lot of businesses do where they see that young, bright, fun-loving person over there who's going viral, like their personal videos are going viral, so they must be great at social media. It will bore them to tears. And you hired them for a whole full-time job. Social media is not an afterthought with, hey, just post a few times and it'll be successful. It doesn't work like that. There is targeted methods, there is strategy, there is timing. All of those things go in together. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel bad if you don't have time or passion or desire to do that. Outsource that. And that leads us, Justin, to what does it look like when someone signs on with you? What is it? What does the process of onboarding look like if somebody's ready to maybe hand over some of these time-consuming tasks that they're not passionate about and they're not great at to hand over marketing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So basically, well, I mean, like you mentioned already, I encourage you to go over to our website, hanovermarketingservice.com, where you're able to literally see everything that we're talking about. So you can process the entire process and what actually comes in the program. But basically, what it's like working with us in the first 6 months, we're 100% focused on building out your marketing machine, basically. So we're focusing on the audience piece, the nurture piece, and the conversion piece. So audience piece, I mean, obviously we're building out your Pinterest platform and getting the organic traffic flowing. We're optimizing your website to make sure that it's set up to sell and nurture people through the process as they land on it. We're getting the SEO going, so that way we're making sure we're capitalizing and making it easier for us as we go down the road and not making it harder, so we don't have to keep attracting new people. We can keep resurfacing to the people that are already interested in what you're offering in your venue. And then we move into the nurture piece. So we focus on the blogging and creating blog strategy. We mentioned like look at them like mini sales letters. So we're making sure we're producing those and very keywords rich, good photos. So that way we're obviously it's all working together. And then from there, getting them into a call to action with a lead magnet, getting their email, getting them to give you something. So that way you know who's there and that you're not again paying for that person again. It makes no sense to keep paying for people when you already got them to your website. Get something from them. So obviously the best thing is email. Now you can build out an email list. You can keep remarketing them. We set up an entire automated email sequence based on the lead magnet to nurture that person with the end result of getting them to book a tour. So that's all being built out for you. So by the end of 6 months, like all this is running like a machine, and it's about optimizing and maintaining, so that way we can keep accelerating the growth moving forward. So if that type of stuff is interesting to you, and you're not obviously doing that right now, you're definitely missing out. And like I mentioned, it's a complete marketing strategy. Everything that I just mentioned, you own. So even if you say stop working with me, guess what? You still own everything that we build for you, and it's still working for you. Whereas, like say if right now, if you're just relying on word of mouth or Instagram alone, well, guess okay, if Instagram disappears tomorrow, what happens? So like those are real questions that you need to consider, especially if you're looking to exit your venue at some point. There needs to be some substance there that someone can step into and be like, okay, yeah, this is a legitimate marketing strategy. There's value here. So that's basically what we're providing. So if this is interesting, you can easily fill out an application on our site, and we do an application process because we want to make sure that we're paired up right. We want to make sure that we're a good fit for each other, and we do offer location protection. So we don't work with 2 venues in the same zip code, basically. We want to protect our quality and our service, and we want to protect our clients and making sure that they have that unique standpoint, basically, when it comes to their marketing. So if all that checks out, then we'll be reaching out to you to get your marketing strategy call booked, which we'll go over kind of like what's your current status, and then start laying out the roadmap for what it looks like moving forward. And for those that work with us, is giving you that extra guarantee and that building trust with who you're working with. We guarantee that we're going to add 60,000 in revenue to your venue in the next 12 months. And if we don't hit that number in those 12 months, we keep working for you for free till we hit that number. So, I mean, one way or not, we are hitting that number, so that you're not losing here. Is basically what I try to portray to people, and we're willing to stand behind our service 100% because we believe in it, basically.
I love that. And that is something you're not going to find everywhere. This is why Justin and I are talking today. Not only is Justin brilliant at marketing and strategy and helping venue owners get over those hurdles or those slumps that they've become in, or just to outsource this incredibly time-consuming task that you're not managing to the best of your ability, or you don't have the time to manage. Not only all of those great things, but he's really standing by with his guarantee. And I love that, because our venue owners they've been, they're an easy target for ripoffs. I know we're going to run out of time because we have so much great information to share, but I'm going to share Justin's information. You're going to reach out and get some information from him, but you're also going to see him in the 7-day social media marketing guide that we send out every Monday. If you need a little support and you're managing this yourself, 7-day social media marketing guide will help you. Justin's going to provide Pinterest tips so that we're going to have him as our great go-to resource for more information to come. And we certainly hope this isn't the last video. Justin, you are a wealth of knowledge. A lot of us don't understand Pinterest and how to utilize that. So I just want to thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for what you shared. And I'm excited to get some questions and feedback from our audience on things that are stumping them on Pinterest so that we can address those in upcoming sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. It was truly a pleasure. I was honored to be able to be on here with you, and absolutely bring those questions on. Let's get them answered. Don't keep them to yourself. Don't suffer in silence. We can help you.
I think that's a great place to end this. We'll see you guys next time. WeddingVenueOwners.com, Wedding Venue Owners and Managers Community. Justin with Hanover Marketing. All right. Bye, Justin.
Thank you. Bye, Dee. Take care.
Whew, I think we barely made it without getting cut off. That was awesome.